and today we'll be doing a simple project on Spotify music dataset. This is a dataset collected from the Spotify platform and has information on different songs. So we just want to do a bit of cleaning, and then we head over to Power BI where we will build a beautiful dashboard for this particular project. So it's going to be a two-part series. The first part where we're doing just a tiny bit of cleaning, and then the second part where we build a dashboard with this data. Okay, so first off, everything looks okay. So the only data sets will be, the only variable we're dealing with here is the genre. You can see artists, you shouldn't have a problem with that. It's not going to maybe going to need anything for that in our analysis. The song, now emotion is a good variable, so I'm just going to put on filters. Emotion is a good variable. Now variance, depending on how the song moves up or down, alright, negative, or it could be variation in emotion, in tempo and all that. Now we also have genre, which is what we're going to be dealing with. You can see there's so much, and really many of them are not necessary, and we'll need that. That's going to be a major part of our analysis. So what we really want to deal with here is the genre. Now release year from 1900 to 2024. The keys are A major, A sharp, major, minor. Now if you know anything about music, you know that we don't have a B sharp. So we have A major, minor, A sharp, major, minor, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E as well does not have a sharp, F, F sharp, G, and G sharp. So everything looks okay. Then we have the tempo of the music. Loudness, does it contain explicit content? So loudness from minus 46, minus 46.77 decibel. And then that's where we're going to go. It becomes louder and louder and louder and louder and louder to the point where you can clearly hear, and even up to the point where it becomes too loud. Okay, so it's usually measured in decibels. Explicit content, yes or no, and the rest are just variables between 0 to 100 based on ranking. So popularity 0 to 100, energy 0 to 100, danceability 0 to 100, positiveness, speechiness. Now likelihood for it being acoustic, level of acousticness it has, and then likelihood for it being an instrumental or not. Okay, so what we're dealing with basically is the genre, and there are multiple ways you could do this. One way I had thought of earlier before this video is to take every part that take the first word of every part. If it matches a particular list of genres that I have, then we keep them. If it doesn't match, then we probably call them others. I could do that using the ifs and the left function. That's one way. Another way I could do that is using the text before, and then get every text before the comma. Okay. Now the only thing is that, for example, if I have unknown here, then I don't want to waste my time calling it a name. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to check if a particular cell contains unknown, then let me just call it unknown first. Okay, that's going to be the first thing I'm going to do, and then I'm going to go ahead to change other things like if let's go through. So I've gone through the data. So I don't need to sound super smart. You have things like contemporary gospel, right? So we're just going to replace the whole contemporary with nothing. Let's just have gospel there. Okay, same thing we're going to do for maybe when you have R&B and all that. So we're not going to waste our time with certain things, just look for shorter ways to do it if you can. But since some have focused on beginners, alright, it's a simple cleaning project. I'm going to do some steps that I may skip. Okay, so first of all, let's you could go through the data set to pick out what are going to be the main genre you'll be focusing on. I've already done that, so I already have a list of them here. If they are not inclusive at the end of everything, I'm still going to update and add some more. Now, it's going to be a bit lengthy, so at some point, I'm repetitive, yeah? So at some point, I may just have to skip and then come back when we're done. Now, first of all, let's deal with that contemporary. So Control H and tell it we're looking for contemporary. And everywhere you see contemporary, just replace them. Okay, so seeing that it's consistent, I can just replace all. We have about 78. Now, also, we had for what group else? So I have hip hop here. We also had some kind of repetition for hip hop. So you can see hip hop. Yeah, you can see hip hop, and you can see hip hop. So I want to replace all of them with just that. Okay, so I have hip hop, and I'm going to no, that's what I want actually. Replace hip hop with hip hop. So just to find and then replace all. It's just 6 of them. Let's also replace hip space hop and okay, so replace one. So just about 17 of them. Okay. Also, we have R and B. So you can see R and B. You can see arrow, yeah, and I think there's arrow end B, yeah, so it's arrow end B, arrow space N space B. So we're going to correct all that. So let's start with arrow and B. I'm going to replace that with arrow and B. So replace all. And arrow NB is all, and arrow NB. Don't look for found anyone like this, none. Okay. So find next. Yep. Place all, and we had that final one, which was arrow NB. So that's just one. I guess that's all. That's all I had written here. Now, several ways to do this, like I said. And every time I'm looking at this data set, I'm just thinking of a new way to do it. Okay, so basically, I want to say. We're going to do something now. Now, what we want to see is if the first one belongs to any of the list of items we have, then call it this. So it's going to be a bit lengthy, but I'm just going to skip, and then when we get there, you would see the result. Okay, but just follow me for a bit. So I'm going to use text before and say in this cell, if the text before is equal to, so let me start with the common ones that I have. If the text before is equal to, so I have 50s, know how this is going to work. If it's equal to 50s, then tell us that it is 50s. You get? So we are going to do a sample try first. Okay, let's just run that and see all that it gives to us. So it's not giving it's not giving anyone for that's. Ooh, let's see those that have 50s. Yeah. Oh, there's no apostrophe. So it's just 50s. Oh. Okay, so just going through. Okay, so we have 50s. Yeah. So the stress is we will not have to write these over and over and over again for those groups that we have. So bear with me. Okay. Now what I'm going to do also is to add the IFNA to basically say that if this gives me an NA error, then replace it with what was originally here. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing, and it's going to be quite a lot of work, but let's go. All right, stressful ball. The next one is for 60s. So I'm just going to copy with the arrow. Okay, so this. Next one is for 70s. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. Okay. 70s followed by 80s. So I've already done this grouping before, like I said. And then do let me know. This is not what I originally had done. It just came up while I was setting up for this. Okay, I had initially used ifs and then used the left function to say if the beginning of this cell has 3 characters and the first 3 characters, those 3 characters is equal to pop, then call the cell pop. Well, this is better. So I have acoustic is going to be a long line. So yeah, you can. So that's the thing about these things. The more you do something, is the more you'd see a better way to do them. I'm sure if I work on this project again after this, I'm going to discover that, oh, see, that this can be a cool way to do it. For example, if I had these items in a list before now, it would definitely have not saved me from this. Oh, let the gospel. Okay, so I done it. I done it. Yeah, it's not perfect yet because we definitely still have to work on it. But let's see what we had here initially. So we had quite a number of. See, there's so much more there, but this time around, you can see we've cut down on quite a number of them. So what we're going to do is try again and see if there's anyone we could still pick out. Alt country was What's that? No. A lot of these are not genres. Would we say anime is a genre? No, I'm not gonna give it a genre. Some of them actually came from movies and shows. So if it doesn't have a number of them, beautiful is not really a genre. Probably comes from blues rock. Now I don't know if I'm going to give that a genre. So let's see, blues rock. British, no. Canadian, no. Let's see, calypso. Does calypso have a single one? No, it's not. Okay, maybe I can give it to choral. They're not much. So Christian, Christmas. What's the difference between Christian and gospel? We have classic country. So I'm going to call classic country to be country, right? So I'm going to call classic country to be country. Classic rather. To just save us. That's dress, country, cover. So let's call cover. So we're going to call all the cover, let's call them covers. See how dance hall. Some of them will probably be just like a single song or something, single music. Disco, so definitely disco has to go there. Remember, this is what my dad used to groove to. I'm Christian. Electro, is that genre? It's a kind of beats, emo. There's nothing wrong if we just call some of these others, because we really can't group them all. I know Eurovision is not, experimental is not, we're gonna call them others, female vocalist, no, females quite a lot, it looks like. Are we sure it's not a movie? It's female movie? I think I've checked that before, it's not. Yeah, I forgot. I'm supposed to make you unknown if you have unknown. So I'm going to do that too. So once again, go into. So we're seeing gospel music, gospel tag. So now you see why I used in the other one, I used the first number of characters, okay? Because it would have covered all these guys. So I'm going to add that gospel using lefts to get that. Okay. So just gonna skip hard rock. Hard rock is just rock. Hip hop. Oh, it's different. Okay, so it's indie, not indie. So we are going to use indie again for those first 7 or first 5 character. See, it's just instrumental. So let's have. Since we still have a lot to do here, it's just like come on, man. Yeah, I'm just gonna fly through. Modern, yeah, there's modern genre, but they're just a couple of them. Oh, yup. This is tiring. Psychedelic. So we're gonna do same thing with psychedelic, with punk. Basically, that's all we're gonna do. So for those ones like gospel, indie, psychedelic, punk, we're going to replace that function using the left function. You understand? There's some R&B song up there. It's just R&B, rock and blues. Yeah, it's rock and roll. Let's see, so it's rock and roll. She just fall on that rock. Sorry, it's gonna fall on that rock, so I'm going to change rock as well. This is just to make my work easier. Okay. You could do better if you had more time. So since it's a video, I don't want to spend my whole day doing it one by one. So you see, southern rock, southern gospel, not really. So I'm just gonna put all those on others. Yeah, let's probably have urban. So yeah, that place I had classic country. I think I'm just going to do classic country. So you have to be working with me, alright? You have to work with me, full project. So work with me, don't just watch the video. Yeah, you can skip. So classic country as well. So I'm going to do classic. That's what I'm saying. So now we see the advantage of using the left over using TEXTBEFORE. I'm also going to add vocal. Yep, worship. Worship should still go under gospel, so I'm going to put worship with gospel. I'm going to say worship with gospel. Okay. Alright, back to work. So I'm going to hurry this up a bit again. So let's change some things. We say we want to change gospel. Where do we have that? So instead of this, we want to say that left of E2, if it contains gospel is 6 characters, right? If the first 6 characters is gospel, then call it gospel. Okay. Um, which one? Indie. Let's see. Let's indie and okay. So we're going to change this to left as well. The first 5 characters is equal to indie. Call it indie. What else? Psychedelic. It's a pretty long one. So psychedelic contains about 11. Psyche 6. So about 11 characters. Okay. Punk, rock, same thing. So if the first 4 characters is punk, call it punk. If the first 4 characters is rock, call it rock. Classic as well. If the first 7 characters, so that's classic. If the first 7 characters classic, call it classic. Done rock, yeah? Done with rock. Okay. So we want to add worship. So something like this. So comma. So worship is 7 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If that's that, then return worship for me. No, return gospel. Return gospel. Return gospel. Okay, so let's just add the others that I highlighted again. We're already spending most of our time on this. So house is 5. Okay. We are also saying if we have blues rock, so we're just gonna go with blues. I mean, just call it what it is. Sorry for the rare people that love to be so distinct. Blues rock. We have disco. There should honestly have to be an easier way to do this. I'm not thinking about that now, but there has to. Disco, instrumental. Maybe, yeah. So just have something. Instrumental. We've done disco. Let's have. Oh, see, making a mistake here. Disco is 5. Instrumental is 6, 12. So here I am. Electro 7. Okay. E more is 3. Choral is 6. carbon is 5. Cover is 5, so I'm going to say if it begins with cover, call it covers. I think that's what we have. Okay. Wow. So that should considerably reduce it. Okay, so we have about 236,000 data points, and I want to believe that we have considerably done good work. So we have 80s, as we see, this is 80s here. Don't get on my nerve, don't get on my nerve. What did we have? 80s. Okay, so let me save myself a lot of stuff. Let me put my first. I'm going to say if I want to search through each cell if it contains unknown. If it contains unknown, then I'm going to replace that cell with unknown. Okay, so if we use the search function to check for unknown, it's going to return a number. So what we'll do is now use the ISNUMBER function to say if it is actually a number, which will be true, right? If it's actually a number, which will be true, then what should it do? It should replace it unknown. So that's going to be my first command. So, okay, let me do it gradually. So first of all, I'm saying search. Search where? Search here. Oh, so what's it looking for? No, I think I've gotten it wrong. I think find text is what I'm looking for. So search for unknown. Yeah, search for it here. Okay. I hope I got it right. And then if it finds it, return on. Now the only thing is that it's not going to return unknown, because what it's going to find, what this returns is a number, okay, which is not a conditional statement. So I'm now going to say is like logical function. So I'm going to say is number. So if that gives us a number, alright, then return for me unknown. Yeah, so let's see. Now I honestly hope I got that right. Let's see. I'm forgetting my functions. I think I got it right. So see, I can't find any unknown anywhere. All the unknowns are gone. Yeah, they're all gone. So So anyone that contains unknown is now in a group called unknown. So I'm seeing hardcore punk. I should have just used my previous idea. Well, okay, so this is what I'm going to do next. This is now going to be the cell I'm going to be considering, okay? And like this is now going to be the variables I'm considering. I'm going to create a new column, and in this column, now I could still do everything in this first cell, but I don't want it to be too complex and hard to read. So I'm now going to say text after. So give me the text from here after the first comma. Now if it doesn't have, so instead of giving me an A, return back for me what was originally here. So now, yeah. So let's see. So let's say this tends 2000, or some of them may not be like this anymore. I think I saw this with one of the group down there, but so you see, I'm not having 60s, 50s, and all that. So I'm not going to apply the formula I used there here again. Okay, I'm going to apply the formula I used there here again, but it's going to be a bit tricky because we now want to change. So it's no longer going to be F2 unless I copy and replace there as values. Okay, let's see. There's no harm in trying, yeah? So I'm saying if I take this guy's, hold on. So this is my result. This is going to be a long one. Okay, so let's insert another column. And so see, this is now G2 because of how I copied it. Excel is beginning to lag. Okay, so in real time, because I know I'm going to cut a lot of these videos during edit, in real time we spent about 45 minutes now. So exactly 45 minutes has been gone. So data cleaning can be strenuous. Okay. All right. So we now have those 50s and all. What have you? Okay. So that's what we have. So I'm just simply going to use these guys. Okay, I'm going to use these guys to replace what I have here as values. So I'm going to copy here as values only. So my system is lagging a bit because, okay, so it means I no longer have to work with these two. I no longer have to work with these two. I can let them go. Yeah, because we've used them to get something. Now, okay. So, The next work will be to have tens. What's tens? That's 20 tens. I probably want to group every other thing as others. Okay, probably want to group every other thing as others. If it's not any of these, that's going to be quite a work. Now, there are actually some of them here that this would have been easier on Parkway. Easier actually. So I've basically grouped the important parts. Now the next challenge would be to make everything else other. I'm just thinking how I want to do this without going through it one by one. First thing that's coming to my mind is anyone that contains a comma should be called that. That's the first thing that's coming to my mind. Everything that contains, if there's a comma in it, then it should be called others because it's still more than one group. So that's one way to think of it. So let's see how that works. Excel, I plead to you, my king. Let's see how I can finish this in less than an hour. No, my system is lagging. I have a lot of edits to do on this video. So this is one of the downside of working with Microsoft Excel. I think I pushed it. Yeah. Maybe I'll name the video my Excel broke. And I think I now have to be careful. Alright, welcome back, Mr. Excel. Don't tell me you're going to be suffering like this every time I need to do something. Say we to clear, I can clear all of you so I have more. Alright, so what I want to say, so I'm still going to stick with ifs just in case there's something I need to do. Is number and it's searching for a comma within the cell, and if that is true, should return others. So let me just capitalize that just to give it honor since it contains a lot. Otherwise, return backwards. What am I saying? So if NA, this gives me, then return back what is here. Do not lag. Do not. Oh, did it? Okay. So voila. So I just need to confirm if it has. So I'm just going to work with that. I think that's fair enough. 51 minutes so far. Yeah, you could add Eurovision. I don't know what that is. I don't think that's. You could still, push it again with the comma thing. You could still push it again with the comma thing. I'm getting tempted to say. I'm only going to be repeating everything, so I just don't want this to hang. So I'm pushing it again. So equal to if NA, and what should give an if NA, so we're going to say text after, it's not going to give. I just wanted to give the text after. Text after, this is the text. Okay, so yeah, it could give an NA error, so just remember. So if it gives an NA error, then return originally what was here. Okay, so basically, what's this? What's this? Yeah, okay, content number. That was close. Okay, so me just taking a look. So if I do this, it's not going to be harder. Oh, right, this is not a good step. This is not going to be a good step because so you're no longer going to be having audio board. We're still together. Video rather. So this is not really a good step, and the reason is that I would have lost, the power I had to say that give me the ones that still have a comma, right? I would have lost that power. So what I mean is, see how we have a clean stuff here, because we said that if it finds a comma, call it others. Okay, because if it finds a comma, call it others. Otherwise, give us whatever was back in E2. And we had this. Do we have Christmas here? Because we have Christmas and Xmas, I'll have to work on that. Now, if I do this with this guy, now I will no longer have the power to do all those on all this because they no longer have commas. So it's absolutely not necessary, and I would have to delete that step. Okay. And I think we're good. Or we're almost good. So this is what we're going to be working with. I just have to maybe just do a thing or two, and that will be good. So let's move. See all these guys. Let's move them here. So copy here as values only. Now, I think I should do this. I'm going to copy this very lengthy formula. So just in case you're working, I'm going to copy it and keep it somewhere. So just in case you're working, I'm going to paste it in the description so you could have it with you. Let me also Sorry, I should have posted the other ones as well, but I think that's the major one that should give issues. Okay, so let's get past these two. Did we actually have 400 euros? Okay, yeah, so that's too good. That's fine. Okay, finally, I said what I would want to do is, so alternative now it's has to go to others because there's nothing like that. Christian has to become gospel, so alternative goes to others. Oh, I have 3 minutes left. Christian goes to gospel. Xmas goes to Christmas, like I said. Okay, comedy, country, covers, dance, disco, electro, electronic. So electronic, go to electro. Yeah. You have house, I don't know what that is. Jazz, love, metal, oldies, opera, others, party, piano, pop. So Xmas is the end. It's just Xmas. Okay, so let's do it quickly. Said I have alternative and replacing that with others. Fine, next. Good. Replace all. How much? 19,000. Okay, quickly, let's just check online. Let's see. Is it a music genre like let's use chat. This is ChatGPT. Is there a music genre called alternative? Wrong move. Bring it back. Bring them back. Oh, wow. So there may be other mistakes I made. Just do better, yeah. In the next 25 seconds is going to be 1 hour long. This little mistake I made just made it possible for me not to meet my deadline. So Christian to gospel, Christian to gospel, Xmas to Christmas. And electronic to electro. So let me confirm that. Let's see. Electronic and electro are they different? I'm sure you know what I mean. So they are different. I hope I didn't use left there. So if that's the case, we are good. Okay, so congratulations if you're with me up to this point. I stayed by over, okay, this is exactly 1 minute, above an hour. So in our next video, we're going to take this data to Power BI to build a dashboard for Spotify, which we'll share on the Power BI platform, and I'll see you in that video. Thank you guys, and see you soon.